Parenthood clarity therapy.
Like, it makes all of the sleepless nights worth it.
I've always been like I don't want children. Now suddenly I'm a bit more towards the maybe one.
I think like people who get baby fever and suddenly want a baby because they see a baby cute, right? They're doing it for the wrong reason.
Call them out. So today we have a highly experienced and passionate principal therapist, not just normal therapist, principal. I don't know what that means. We'll find out later. A master social worker.
Whoa.
Also, I'm a bit intimidated. And award-winning educator with 23 years of experience at KK Women's and Children's Hospital.
Insane.
Where I was born.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
And she currently has her own private practice. Please welcome Miss Joanne Goh.
Woo!
Welcome.
Thank you for
You
having
mean
me.
doctor?
Yes.
But here
Miss lah, Miss lah.
Really, man?
It's Miss. It is Miss. I studied social work in school. So I kind of chance upon social work.
And then you have dedicated your life's work to social work somewhat.
I don't dare to say that. I just happened to be there. There was a lot of draws and I took up a lot of candies, blessings, and I continue on that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you seeing more cases of like couples going for couple therapy?
I shouldn't say that I represent the statistics in that sense, but yeah, in fact, I do see more unmarried couples coming for couple therapy.
Which is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
What do unmarried couples go into therapy for?
To kind of like really sort out what's the relationship is about. Eventually, are they really going into, the marriage? And some of them do talk a bit actually about, the parenthood and all. Is that something that they want?
It's so interesting because I would imagine that if you're unmarried, you don't really have that bond yet. Like if like we're having problems, just break up lah. And you don't kind of have that marriage thing. And it's interesting that couples now are actually making the effort to actually seeing like, okay, this is something that's good for us.
Yep.
This is something that we can actually work out and see whether we are actually right for each other. And something that I like the fact that they're doing it now rather than get married and then the problems kind of like boil up and then do it later.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. I thought that if you actually kind of do it before that, you cannot really sort out some of the differences, and some of the issues that you want to address before you even kind of dive in, right?
Yeah.
Versus like after diving in and then so then we have assets to settle, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
then like,
So somebody close to me recently went for a couples like marriage counseling course. A marriage course, I believe, with their partner to kind of figure out like everything, right? To have an honest overview of your entire relationship as a couple and see how you're going to move forward, what your marriage will look like and whatnot. And I thought that it was extremely healthy. Honestly, it's damn intense. Everybody says that they are like when you go through this course, you go with like several other couples, and sometimes some of them don't make it out of this course. Yeah, and you can actually pass it also, which I was quite surprised by.
Oh, it's a passable course.
Yeah. To see whether you actually like are compatible or something like that. So many of these questions are questions that I feel like individuals should be asking themselves even before they start dating. Because a lot of people go into dating thinking that they know what they want or they just want a relationship or they just want a partner, but they don't actually know why. They don't understand themselves enough before they go into a partnership or start looking for a partner. What are your thoughts on that?
We will never be 100% ready lah, right? I think readiness is actually something very subjective. It is, isn't it? Yeah. So how many like degrees do you need? How many certificates do you need in order to go into a partnership and stuff like that? I would think that it's okay that you have enough information about yourself, dive in. I think one of the key few things is, number one, having the right attitude when going into a relationship, right? Allowing the relationship to grow, knowing what the relationship brings to you and brings into that whole partnership. And then allowing yourself to be open, to be influenced by each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then start building. Then of course, then the question is, what are we building? I think with that clarity, why not? I mean, it's a ongoing process.
What is the hardest topic that you think couples find difficult to discuss?
You know what? I went through almost everything with them because I also have a checklist. So usually I tell my couples, hey, I have a 37 pages of like inventory. Can you do it for me? Yeah. And they were like, then I'll tell them, you know what? It's okay. It's just tick. Just do it for me. 1 hour. I promise. It's going to be easy. Hardest topic, sometimes it could be their sexual life, that's one. Other parts would be how to handle extended family. But I would say that there's no like one major one that really, really stands out. Every couple has their own unique issues to kind of sort out lah. I would say that,
I see. And is it always the typical like one person doesn't want sex, the other person wants sex, or like what?
John Paul really wants to know. Actually, all of this really just to ask this question.
This episode's for him.
After that, I will leave your continue.
I see a range. Again, no judgment. They all come in with whatever needs or unmet needs actually. Unmet needs, right? So then I guess the question is, how then do you deal with the unmet needs that allows both needs to be met? I think is to go through the whole complication of it lah.
Right. I came across this term called Parenthood Clarity Therapy. And it got me quite fascinated because I didn't think that there would be a thought process that you can go through and guided some more to kind of figure this out. I've recently been thinking about it quite a bit because I've always been like I don't want children. Then now suddenly I'm a bit more towards the maybe one.
Wow.
Right? But I still have all the hesitation, right?
Yeah.
I haven't really had time to think about this decision yet. So I thought that this was quite interesting, and then honestly I just wanted to do it.
I also didn't know that there's resources until you brought it up also. And I'm already like 30. And so of course my biological clock, right? I'm a bit worried.
Yeah.
But I've always been on the fence, or either on the fence or like no. Like I don't want kids. But I really don't know what's it like on the other side of the fence, you know? So I will scour through Reddit, TikTok videos, right? With the title of women who chose not to have kids.
Yeah.
How is your life like now?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll read through the comments. I'm like,
What's the general
interesting.
consensus?
Whatever you choose, right? You'll never know the happiness or the losses, right? From the other side.
Sure.
Which is the challenge that we face
Choose
now.
and
lah.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And for Dan, because he has a kid, right? What was that for you like?
I've always wanted kids, and then at some point I realized maybe I don't want kids, and then at some point I became on the fence, and then with Ned, I think we were like, okay, let's have one. Now that we have one, maybe we want to have two. The short phase, I think it was like a period of 4 years where I suddenly was like, do I really want or not? Was that I had friends my age that were starting to be parents, and I saw what their lives were like. They could no longer go out. They look really, really tired. You might experience the really fun parts of the kids, like they're playing and whatnot, but you get to go home, whereas they have to deal with like the tantrums, the putting to sleep and all that. And so initially I was like, do I really want this? Like, you know, I already have nieces and nephews. It's really fun. I can have kids as well. But then I think it came to a point where I realized, like, if Ned and I don't have kids, and again, no judgment on couples who don't, but like, what's next? Like, sure, we can live our lives and explore the world together, but I feel like there will always be a missing piece of the puzzle. And that's why that was when I realized, like, I was ready.
Okay.
So interesting.
Right.
I read a lot about that also, like your point of view, like parents with that point of view, right? But I guess my criteria is when I see my friends, because now my friends are having babies,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it's so exciting because the first baby in the group, and we all go and rush to see, right?
Yeah.
My friends, my female friends, right, will get the what's the word called, like
Baby fever.
baby fever, yes. They all will get baby fevers, right? But I don't. I will stand aside and like, oh, so cute, congratulations, you know.
Okay.
And perhaps
That's good.
that might be a sign of
Baby shiver.
No. It's actually,
I don't know.
I don't know. But like to me, I think that's good because I think it's not like a trend that you're trying to like follow or like a hype that you're trying to jump on. I also never had baby fever. Every time I saw babies, I was like, I never carry a baby. I think to me, parenthood is more than that lah. So I think like people who get baby fever and suddenly want a baby because they see a baby cute, right? I think they're doing it for the wrong reasons. I think it's very, very
Call them out.
oh, my friends will beat you up.
I think that alone lah.
Yeah,
Like, it has to be
understand.
with everything else. And so I think even though you don't get baby fever, I don't think it necessarily means that the universe is telling you not to have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm stuck on the
So
fence
from
again.
an expert's perspective, what are the misconceptions around like having kids? Like what are these?
Or any disagreements with anything we say.
Or probably before we jump into that, it's almost like asking ourselves, right? There's a job offer to you, isn't it? So the job offer goes this way. You will not be able to see your client you will not be able to see your client before you even start this job. Okay, but this job itself, it's going to last for probably like for another 20 years.
Oh, yes.
Okay, yeah, and then in the 20 years, but at least for probably the first 3 months or the first 6 months, you're going to have sleepless night. You probably have to run a bit of a shift and all.
No pay.
And then yes, so I want to draw that point. Yeah, and probably at some point you pay. Yeah, at some point you have to pay for that in return.
Okay,
Or you may
the
be
payout.
getting some smiles, new adventure, new things to explore instead of always in the twos. That could be a threes, that could be a four. People involved kind of activity, a lot of wows. So this is a job. Would you want to have that job, right?
How long can I think about this?
No, so it's pretty much that lah.
So like what are the common concerns, especially at the early stage of deciding that most couples have?
Concern again is subjective. Planning is one of the key things that if couples can plan earlier, I think that's good. To me, planning is emotionally cheaper than not planning, right?
I think it comes down to the concerns that parents have, right? I think it's the unknown. It's the the anxiety that really can weigh you down because you just feel like I don't know what to expect. Firstly, there is the cost, and the cost alone is enough to turn a lot of people off. And then after that, there is, like you mentioned, the sleep and your welfare as a person. And there's just so many things. So I think what you're saying about planning, it just gives you a bit more clarity to realize, okay, what is my financial standing? Can I actually afford a kid?
Exactly.
And then am I in the right place, like my job wise or like socially? Like, am I secure socially that I'm okay with not seeing my friends for the next 6 months?
Exactly.
And then knowing that you have a family support system, that you have the grandparents that are able to support. And once you're able to plan and see this in an entirety, like a full mind map or spreadsheet or whatever, then you can go, you know what, let's do it, or nope, not ready.
Exactly. Really tackling the fear in a very realistic way. Almost like doing a paper thing, And sometimes I tell parents, hey, you just go on Shopee or you go on where, just check, how much are some of the things. Things may not be as expensive as what you think it is.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I keep telling people, because I think like everyone that I know that suddenly goes like, hey, how can you afford it? I was like, isn't parenting like super expensive? And it's just, the answer actually is that it's not as expensive as you think. And I'm happy to elaborate now if you want me to.
Please. For me, one of the biggest concerns is also cost lah. Why would I suddenly need to carve out a budget? I could buy myself a car, but now I'm going to have a child.
My child influenced me to buy a new car.
It's true.
Walao, how's that?
I mean, like, I think it's important for me not to come across as privileged. So I try to look and explore really all the options possible. And also, I'm not that rich, to be honest. It was really quite difficult on the wallet. Wow. But what I would say, and this may sound controversial, is that I think parenthood is as expensive as you make it. So for example, a lot of the content that you see today always talks about the most expensive or the best of the best of the best products for the baby. When in actual fact, you don't have to buy the best of the best of the best. Sometimes the mid-tier is really, really, and this is honestly good enough. So if we just take delivery, for example, the public healthcare system in Singapore is really very, 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 very good already. And if you look at delivery fees, it can be around 5-6K at KK Hospital. Before the wards and all that, about 5-6K.
Okay.
But a lot of people prefer the convenience and the premiumness of going private. That will set you back like 12K, 13K before all the other fees also. So that's almost twice the amount. Then the second thing is that when it comes to all the other like baby products, strollers, you can buy $100 one, you can buy $1,000 one. Most people online all love talking about $1,000 ones. So everyone also feels like if I don't buy the $1,000 one, I'm not a good parent. Not true. The $100 one really is sufficient. It just doesn't look as nice lah.
Like the baby will feel the bumps lah.
No. Honestly, it's very good. It's just that I don't know if you guys I don't know if other parents have noticed this. When you push the stroller, for some reason, I just feel the need to look at the other parent stroller and see like what brand they're using.
Okay.
Like,
oh my god.
So it's literally a drive-by.
Yeah. But
nice,
I feel
right?
like moms tend to judge each other more because that's what Ned said. It's that I want to give the best to my child lah. But that's the reason why the prices get inflated. And so if we look at other things also, like baby high chair. Oh my goodness, baby high chair, right? You can get an IKEA one, and people on Reddit have talked about how the IKEA one is honestly very, very good. It's about $50.
Baby high chair is for eating?
Eating. For eating.
Okay.
So baby chair, right? You can get like a decent $58, $60 one from IKEA. Very, very good. But then, right, there's this best of the best of the best of the best of the best one, right? That everybody loves talking about on social media. It is $700. At first, right, I was like Ned said, I think we should buy this. I was like, the alternative is $58. Why do we want to spend $700? Then I go and do the research. But there's one parent, and this one parent, right, converted everybody. She said, I use IKEA one, good, but when I use the $700 one, right, my child just ate and ate and ate. She was so comfortable that I just said, okay. So we bought the $700 one. I talked about the $58 one, the $700 one. There's $300 one. There's $200 one.
Right.
That use the same like concepts.
I guess it boils down to whose needs are we meeting, right?
Yes.
You're right. So yeah, it plays onto the parents' needs to want to give the child the best.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And then that goes into the how much can I afford?
At the end of the day, we go back to planning. If you know what your budget looks like,
Yes.
then you know how much you really should be spending per category. Then I think that really helps with the decision making process.
Exactly.
Because like for Ned and I think early on, right, we budgeted for our house rental, we budgeted for so many things. But with the baby, it was like, okay lah, like this is good, let's buy. Like this is good, let's buy. And I think only after 6 months we realized, whoa, I don't know about you guys parents, but I feel the need to go out more. Just bring the baby out, like explore
See the world.
And then when you do that, you're more likely to spend also. Because like, oh, he's touching a toy. Okay lah, bye.
Touching a toy.
You know? And
Don't bring him into a watch shop.
I used to be someone who was very, very like opposite of that. Like I used to be very thrifty. Like I hate spending money. I would only buy clothes like during Chinese New Year. Now I'm like, okay, buy. Like just keep buy. Just because he want for him, you know.
Because when you are with yourself, your head is talking, right? But then with your kids, right, your heart is talking, right?
Aiyo.
So it's almost like, oh, you touch already.
Besides the smiles, right, making it all worth it. Now, because Ollie started to crawl, right, when I come home and he immediately sees me and he just wants to crawl to me to the door, right, and shriek is the most beautiful thing. Like it makes all of the sleepless
No,
nights
plus
better.
your baby's face damn cute. He has Ollie has this face like baby poster face, like poster boy.
If anybody needs
Yeah.
a
Very cute, very cute.
model.
So when it comes to like the parent planning, right? Let's say for me, like I got zero financial literacy. Okay, I want to have a baby. I need to figure out like how much to set aside, how to calculate how much I can set aside. Is there a way to calculate it?
Okay, you know what? I don't have an exact answer to that because everybody's lifestyle is very different. I would still say that first, explore with people, your peers around you, right? And then ask yourself, what sort of life standard do I want to have? Have a rough budget. Or in fact, I believe like some of your friends may already have some budgets, like existing Excel sheet and all. Just get it and just kind of like do your own sum. If I have a child, how would it be? And then can we afford it?
Speaking of friends who are parents also, the thing about having children is that they outgrow stuff very fast. So you can actually get quite a lot of like hand-me-downs almost that are perfectly in great condition. It's like only used for 2 months only.
Yeah.
And I think we were very lucky, like Ned and I, to have amazing, gracious friends who actually gave us a lot of like clothes.
So another thing that I noticed about Dan,
Hey, hi.
okay, is that right? I always hear like, okay, when you have a baby, you're gonna be so exhausted, you're not gonna sleep for the first year.
Oh yeah.
And all that kind of stuff, right?
What's
but then this
coming?
guy comes into the office, right, and then he didn't really change
Oh.
from before and after. So either he's not doing much
Poor Ned, sir.
I wasn't expecting a compliment.
or you found like a secret to it, you know what I mean? But I do hear the whole parenthood is very tiring, it's very exhausting, right?
End of the day, yeah. I mean, if no matter how exhausted you are, then the child smiles at you, then everything kind of melted down.
And it's true.
Yeah.
The smiles make everything worth it.
I do have to admit that, some parents are sleep deprived. I'm not going to deny that, right? So which is why part of that role, I said, able to find a job that's sleep deprived and whatsoever. But I must say, it will pass.
It will pass.
It will pass.
Has it passed?
Not yet.
Yeah.
But I know it will.
Yeah, it will pass.
Yeah.
It will pass. So yeah, the child will one day sleep on their own, and have their own room and
you will
etc.
miss it.
Yeah, it will pass. It's not going to be permanent. So wait for that passing period, but enjoy the current. The journey, right?
I honestly miss it. So like I think something that John pointed out to me also is like I expected you after having a kid to come in late to just like call in more sick days or whatever, right? But then the opposite happened. Like I come in much earlier than I normally do.
You're running away from responsibilities so early.
So like
Which job more shag?
I know it makes it sound as though I'm just trying to leave the house early or whatever, but it's really not that. It's that I think for some reason, right, even though I am someone who doesn't do well with the lack of sleep, duty has been the best alarm clock. For a short period of time, Ned and I were just like, sleep in like just ignore the cry for like 1 minute maybe. Now it's just like, okay, get up, let's go. Like I'll take him for a walk or like just start the day already. So it's been quite it's been quite an interesting change to also witness us change as people.
Like it's almost like you step up to the task.
Yeah. And of course you have to make certain changes also. Like if you're someone that normally sleeps at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., then you also have to be realistic lah. If your baby's gonna wake up at 5 a.m. for a feed or whatever, then you're only gonna have 2 hours to sleep. Plan better. Maybe you should start sleeping at 11. Maybe you should start sleeping at 10. So like I think be smart about the lifestyle changes. We used to do shift work. It was great, but it felt very lonely. So we decided to no longer do shift work. What we do is that we put him to sleep at 7, and that's when couple time starts. So like we will then put on a show, watch from like 7 to 9, and then from 10 we start to get ready for bed, or maybe I'll play a game after 10.
So aside from all the cost savings hacks that you shared just now, right? What about like baby bonuses?
Oh, okay. So what I would say, right, is that I think if you're on the fence, I think it's really extremely helpful in that budget planning phase, because now you understand what the layout and how much the affordability looks like. But one thing I should mention is the CDA portion of the whole thing. So a lot of people always talk about baby bonus as this like cash payout, like, oh wow, prize for having kids, right? But it's actually free money, and it's more than just the baby bonus. So the baby bonus for your first child is $11,000, but people don't actually talk about the extra $9,000 that is actually free money that the government is giving you. So this comes in the form of the CDA, or the Child Development Account. $5,000 is the cash grant that is put into your CDA account that you can use for your child's education or medical expenses and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then another 4,000 to make up that 9K, right, is co-matching. So if you put 4 more K, the government will co-match 4 more K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's actually been really helpful. Whenever we go to clinics for any visits, we use Ollie's CDA account, the little nice POSB card with a squirrel, and then you can pay for it. But you can also make an OCBC or UOB account. That's fine also.
Yeah, you can use it for preschool fees also.
Exactly. So education, medical expenses, and I think there's like a list of like 11 or 12 different things you can use.
The amounts increase for every other child, every subsequent child.
Because the government wants you to have more children.
Let's go then.
So if you have twins, what happens?
They count as your first and second child.
So 11,000 each.
But you also pay more for delivery.
Oh, do you?
Oh, it's not together, man, but it's one delivery.
That's not fair.
You don't pay the
2 child.
you don't pay the amount of 2 children, but you definitely pay more than having
50% of the second item, I think. So what are some other ways that you would advise parents to handle the stress that comes with parenting?
I guess at the end of the day, it's actually to deal with the anxiety that parents, are not knowing what to do, especially for the first child, isn't it? Yeah. So to reduce the anxiety, the antidote for anxiety is always like information, right? So you have a bit more information. The try and error part would be a lot more easier, less anxiety provoking in that sense.
To dig a little further, so like maybe what's a recent case that you had maybe with parents coming to you about dealing with stress of being a new parent?
Yeah, parents will come in if the child is melting down, what should we do and all. So that's where we actually give some parenting tips and advice.
So I just got married. My partner and I, we are at this stage of our life. Because to be honest, we both kind of just started working-ish. I have like 5 years of work experience. And then my partner has probably like 2 to 3 years. And if we suddenly have a baby now, it's going to disrupt.
Your concerns are not uncalled for lah. Huh? In fact, I get a lot of feedback that, probably one of the parents will feel very guilty, right? Like, oh my gosh, then what's going to happen? I don't spend enough time with my kids. But then my question will always be, then again, going back to the security bit, right? How much time do you need to spend with your kids in order for the kid to be very secure, right? In my practice, I teach parents how to play with the kid. And we call it special play, right? Special play time, right? Kids under 7, probably under 6 lah. 5 minutes. Then the parents say, real enough, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, is it enough? I say, yeah, 5 minutes premium playtime. You play with the kids, but you make sure that it's every day dose lah. So you have a daily dose of 5 minutes entitled special playtime with the kid.
What does that look like compared to normal playtime? Like what?
Yeah, what does it entail, right? It's a lot. So usually how do you play with the kids, right? You just probably sit down there, oh yeah, that's nice, and you just kind of play, isn't it? Or you play together. I don't know, how do you play with the kids?
I usually I don't know, I always feel pressure to like explain things. Maybe they're a bit advanced, but I'll be like, if there's an object, I'll be like, blue ball. ball roll.
Oh,
So I will
yeah,
explain
yeah.
what's happening.
So you're almost like teaching the child a little bit, right?
Even though like nothing is going in, right? Like at least like I feel like I'm doing something.
Okay. So yours is a bit of a more of a teaching element. Actually, you can practice things like if he's touching some stuff, you be just describing what his hand is doing, lor. You know, like a sports commentator, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking on this, you're putting on that. It's similar to your blue, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you're describing, oh, you're putting a blue block on the red block, and you just literally do that commentator part. So that helps because then it actually helps the kids to kind of really focus on what he is doing, what his hand is doing, while the child knows this is called what, this is called what, this is called tractor, this is whatever.
Attaching the language
You're
to the
doing
action.
it almost, and then the child knows that, wow, you're paying so much attention on what I'm doing there, right? That's number one. And number two is along the way that, wow, I really love it. Like, you're focusing so well on this. Wow, I like how much your hand is actually handling it. Oh, the way you're sitting there and you're focusing so well. So you're praising the child. So within the 5 minutes, you are also there at the same time. If the child says something, you paraphrase or you just parrot lor.
Okay.
Oh, I like this. Oh, you like the bear.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is meow meow. Oh, you're holding on to the cat.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
But
Making them feel heard, making them
Oh,
feel...
yeah. So
And at the same time teaching them.
Yeah.
And so the child will know that you are looking at my hands, you're looking, you're knowing what I'm doing, you're hearing what I'm saying, you are noticing all the good stuff that I'm having.
I feel like you're just talking to us as kids just in that moment. I felt the need to
Thank you.
fill in the blanks. Yeah. Wow. It really was lah.
Yeah.
So apparently, like under a certain age, they don't understand the word no or don't. So if you say which one is not the watermelon, then it'll be like watermelon. You know, they would like still point at
They
watermelon.
do the opposite.
Yeah. So you got to like.
Oh, and you don't command. Put that thing over here lah, you know.
Right.
You don't do that at all. It's almost like, oh, if the child wants to put there, then put there lor.
So the child leads, you just describe and you talk.
100%.
Right.
And
Narrate
talk.
almost.
You're in their world and they are the...
Give them the attention with so much affection. Towards the end of special playtime, come on, let me give you a hug.
Okay.
So a lot of assurance, a lot of
Do
confidence.
you need to...
As in, like,
is there a way to start this session? This 5 minutes of premium playtime?
What I practice is I teach parents to do that, right? But we'll always start off by telling the kids, hey, this is our special playtime, okay? Yeah. And then
Special playtime?
Yeah, special playtime. And the kids doesn't know how to tell the time. I will actually advise, hey, you know what? You just kind of put a very nice music. That means by the end of the 5 minutes, this music's rings. That's the end of our special playtime. So sad, right? But it's okay. We're gonna have it tomorrow.
Oh, it's all conditioning.
So you do have to establish what's happening, then you let it play out with something that it can be like kind of like tethered, anchored to almost.
Yeah,
and then
5
at the
minutes.
end, it's a hug and it's like we can have it again tomorrow.
Yeah,
type
we can have it tomorrow
thing.
because it's a daily dose, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're telling the child that, hey, you know what? You deserve my attention. It's unconditional. I'm going to give it to you. It's an entitlement, isn't it? So parents sometimes will ask, wow, if that day I'm very shagged, I'm very angry, the child really makes me so angry, then what should I do? Can I skip that day? I say, it's entitlement, right?
Yeah.
So you go and wash up and then come back.
Does it always have to be at the same time every day?
No lah, no need.
So it's just as long as like it happens lah.
Yeah.
Where were you when my
On
parents
one
were
hand,
having me?
on one hand, I feel like, oh wow, this is really going to help assure a lot of parents who feel guilty for spending the majority of their day in the work.
yeah.
But then I still feel like, but 5 minutes only. Like I still feel bad. I still feel like I spent 8 hours in the office. Now I'm only going to spend 5 minutes of quality playtime.
Yeah, but what you can do is that then do the special time. Then after that, after the special playtime, I can still sit here and watch you, but I just don't do that wow, this and that.
Because it
I
takes a
don't.
lot of energy also.
okay.
It takes out a lot
Yeah,
of energy. So
yeah.
a lot of parents after learning this whole technique, right? They were like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm okay with 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So after the 5 minutes, the child asks you something, you just no. What's that? Why you ask me a question?
Sorry, we're out of playtime.
No, you wait.
The wrong takeaway.
There are rules. Premium. We got paid. At the start of this conversation and now where I'm at, I do feel a little bit more reassuring.
Hey!
I don't know why. No, like, and I'm being honest. It does feel a bit more reassuring.
I think my two biggest questions that I ask myself when I think about whether I want to be a parent or whether I'm ready to be a parent is like the finances and also whether or not it will affect my relationship with my partner. And I think you answered well. Like I think I now can think about like what you said earlier, right? About the numbers that are available online, that I can see how much this actually costs. I can plan ahead. And on top of that, you made me think about whether my partner will work well with me to grow a family. And I think yes.
Yeah, let's go! The population.
Okay, so thanks so much, Joanne, for joining us. And if you want more information, the link is in the description box below. If not, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!
We were bringing Ollie into our car, and then Ned was like, I think putting him in the car seat, I was folding the stroller, and I put his water bottle on Ned's side of the door. And just that one moment, I realized we feel like a family. Like this was the moment that I guess when growing up, I would see like older kids becoming parents, and I see them as that unit, or maybe my own parent. And it was that feeling of like, oh, maybe we can go on a road trip, or like we're just one unit together in this little like box, right, moving. And it just felt like this is perfect. Like this moment right now is absolutely perfect. And it's moments like this that just remind me like I wouldn't change anything for the world. The days are long, but the months are really, really short. And like seeing progress from fitting in the palm of my hand to like now just crawling and you can't like keep up. And I know that in 1 year's time, I'm going to miss this moment. And in 2 years' time, I'm going to miss the moment in 1 year's time, you know? So like,
so it's very powerful, right? So a child literally changed the way you see the world and the way you see family, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's just small little things. It's like just filling up a little water bottle, right? Can make me just feel like I am the most important person in this person's life.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know? And like I think that changes almost your own sense of purpose. Everything else was fun and great, but I'm so much more fulfilled like where I am here with my family right now. And I didn't think I would feel that. I thought it was going to be a sacrifice I was willing to take, but it does not feel like a sacrifice at all.